Her Excellency Ambassador Penelope Beckles, Permanent Representative of Trinidad and Tobago to the United Nations, Dr. Ada Okika, Chief Operating Officer, My Sister's Health Watch, Pastor Toyin Lawal, My Sister's Health Watch, Mrs. Nam Hikim, Chairwoman, International Women's Peace Group, Ms. Lisa Evelyn, Director, Center for Women's Development, Medgar Evers College, Dr. Carol Smith, Doctor of Physical Therapy, New York City Department of Education, Dr. Safia Mohammed, member of the Trinidad and Tobago Network of NGOs, and Chair, Central Branch, Trinidad and Tobago Medical Association. Again, I bid you all a hearty good afternoon. Gender is a social construct which asserts that the expectations, capabilities, and responsibilities of men and women are not always biologically determined. The gender roles assigned to men and women are significantly defined, structurally and culturally, in ways which create, reinforce, and perpetuate relationships of male dominance and female subordination, and this is of course according to UN. Trinidad and Tobago has participated in a number of international conferences over the last decade, such as the 1993 Conference on Human Rights, the 1994 International Conference on Population and Development, and the 1995 Fourth World Conference on Women. This last conference established that women's rights are human rights and that gender equality is key to national development, the institutionalization of democracy, and good governance. Organizations, communities, and governments were required to integrate women's empowerment in their activities and to eliminate or modify practices that are discriminatory of women and that curtail their pursuit of rights and capabilities. We also stand by the decision which was made in 1999 during its 43rd session, where the Commission on the Status of Women further enhanced commitments of the Platform for Action on Women and Health in its agreed conclusions by drawing attention to women's health issues such as infectious diseases, mental health, and occupational diseases. This issue, along with gender equality and the empowerment of women in general, remain a high priority on the national agenda. This is confirmed through Trinidad and Tobago's ratification of and enactment into law of international legal instruments, including the Inter-American Convention on the Prevention, Punishment, and Eradication of Violence Against Women, Belém do Pará, and the United Nations Convention on the Elimination of Discrimination Against Women, CEDAW. Trinidad and Tobago has also introduced a broad spectrum of measures, including legislation to prevent gender-based violence, punish those who commit such crimes, and provide remedies for those affected. We have also implemented a number of initiatives focused on prevention and elimination of violence against women and girls. Included among these are efforts to enhance the responsiveness of law enforcement agencies to reports of domestic violence, which has resulted in the production of the Domestic Violence Investigative and Procedural Manual for Police Officers and the Central Registry of Domestic Violence, which was launched in April 2016. We recognize that issues related to gender-based violence are not confined to women. Consequently, programs and projects have been formulated to bring about the social and economic changes to create an environment which supports the elimination of gender-based violence. One such initiative is the Defining Masculine Excellence program. We also hope to bring on stream soon this year the Barbershop Initiative. Another important project is the economic empowerment of women through skills training, which aims to reduce their vulnerability to abuse through, for example, increased employability and earning potential. The government of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago recognizes the important role of support systems in addressing the issue of violence against women and girls. Accordingly, it provides support services such as free legal aid and advice, housing assistance, and free healthcare services which include the administration of HIV prophylaxis and emergency contraception in instances of sexual violence. We also work closely with civil society and private sector organizations, as well as international agencies, to prevent and eliminate gender-based violence and to provide a number of those support mechanisms for victims and survivors at no cost. We have achieved a lot in Trinidad and Tobago. However, the work must continue and the journey is ongoing. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister. And Minister kept within her time, even though I didn't give her 5 minutes. Okay. So our next speaker will be Dr. Ada Okita, Chief Operating Officer, My Sister's Health Watch. And let me say, for those of you who are present, that Dr. Ada, together with Ms. Moraine, our Head of Chancery, they have been working together over the last month or so to get this project together. So that we want to say thank you very much, because the project, the session today is of course being twinned with Dr. Ada's organization.
Your Excellency, the permanent representative of Trinidad and Tobago, Ambassador Beckles, Honorable Minister for State in the Office of Prime Minister and Gender and Child Affairs, Honorable Webster Roy, my fellow speakers who are here, and those who are able to join us here for this event, considering the fact that we were to have it last Tuesday. I don't want to take much of the time to talk about. I just want to give a brief history of My Sister's Health Watch and how it all came about. I always want to start by saying that the idea of My Sister's Health Watch came up as a result of the way I was born. My late mom was in labor for 3 good days. And by the time both mother and child were weak, she signed her death bond and took the risk, and I'm alive today. Now, when my father came and saw that his very first child had been delivered, and he said, "You are going to work for women and health." Even before I was named, you know, in those days there was no scan for you to give the name of a child. So he gave me that mandate that you must work and advocate for women's health. Because at the point he was also lost that he was going to lose his wife and first child. So and he ran away from the hospital. He only came back when he was told that both mother and child were alive. So, and he continued on he wanted me to be a medical doctor, and the faith didn't allow me to do that. I went into education, came up, but then that burning desire, and one burning desire of having a role to play on women's health was my passion. And we continued. We started the Africana Women Working Group, where we want to look at women of Africa and the Caribbean, we started the UN. And then from that, we came up with My Sister's Health Watch. We had once had events with First Ladies where they looked at women's issues. Our idea is not an organization on My Sister's Health Watch, but a movement to speak on women's health. We are looking at the way health of women is being taken care of across the world. I'm not talking about me and you who can identify when you have headache what to do, the hospital to go. We are talking about those women in vulnerable situations who have no means to take care of their health. And we have a slogan, a watchword of this is "A woman in health, tomorrow is assured." We looked at the Sustainable Development Goals and we found out that the Millennium Development did not go well because there was no implementable activities. It was all theory. At this time, we are looking at sustainability. We have to kill the theory and get into practicalities. So we established it as a movement to adopt SDG 3, which is health and overall well-being of all. But we are targeting women in rural communities, women in vulnerable situations, women who don't even know how to identify, study their body system. A lot of these women exist. And it is our responsibility to liaise with governments, health agencies, stakeholders on women's health. This myself was commissioned at the UN, and the then president of 69th section spoke at it. And we had a member who spoke at it, and it has been up to the level that we are no longer doing conferences. We are no longer doing awareness education. We are now want to go into stakeholders forum to get into health competent agencies. How can a woman who is in a timid area that cannot afford to eat 3 times a day be able to finance her diabetic drugs or high blood pressure drugs? And these are the sicknesses of the rich. What is the government doing? When they do budget, how much do you vote in for the health of women? This is what we want to talk about. Because those women, the elders, those who are suffering from HIV, disabled women, those who have a lot of communicable and non-communicable diseases, how do you attend to them? Who sees them? In Nigeria, where I come from, for you to go and see a doctor, consultation is $100. And how many of those women have that kind of money to go and not medication, just consultation for you to see the doctor? And then after that, after seeing the doctor, you will now prescribe your medication. You will now go to the pharmacy to look for money to buy. And this is someone who cannot eat 2 meals a day. So we need stakeholders, we need civil society, we need NGO to sort of look at these issues. We have come up with the 5 P's of my sister's health watch. And we're looking at the 5 P's. The planet, so we have that on people, that's one of the P's. My sister is determined to provide health and well-being support to every woman and girl, especially those who are not in the position to attend to their health needs. My sister health will advocate to the world leaders and ensure that adequate fund is provided for health of women in the health budget. We also look at the planet. The planet is assured of the determination invested on the planet protection from degradation, sustainability. So all these words we also look at the partnership, the prosperity and the peace. These are the 5 P's of my sister's health watch. And I believe that if we get involved with government, thank God the Honorable Minister is hearing me, I want to get involved with the Ministry of Health, with the women in Trinidad and Tobago. We want to set up health centers. We have established my sister health club in some schools in Nigeria. We want to expand on that. We're also working on setting up my sister health center in a university in Africa. We need one in Caribbean, Trinidad, to set up such a thing, so that we begin to talk with leaders on health. When ministers make a budget for health, we want to ask them how much is for women in various situations. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ada Opika. Okay, our next presentation would be by Pastor Toyin Lawal, also of My Sister's Watch, and Pastor will give us a little more explanation about the program. Sure, come on.
Good afternoon, everyone here this afternoon. Excellency, honorables, ministers, and speakers together, and my sisters and brothers here this afternoon. I'm here just to talk about the practicality of my sister's health watch. Who is my sister, and who are the people that are with me as my sisters? I want someone to please answer that question, if you can. Who are my sisters?
All women.
All of us. Everyone.
Yes.
So this is inclusive of everyone. Now, my sisters, What are we doing to make sure that my sister is safe? What are we doing to make sure that my sister health is taken care of? When we look at health, I am in healthcare, but the way that we define health, we have forgotten the definition of health by World Health Organization. The definition of health is inclusive of social aspect of health, the economic aspect of health. Most of the time, when you look at the background of why my sister is suffering from one kind of sickness or the other, look at the root. So this afternoon, I want to challenge every one of us to take it by the source and to take it by the root. Why my sister does not have access to health? Why my sister is having diabetes? Why my sister needs help to take care of that diabetes? Look at the way everything is formed around us globally. The planet, the people, peace, prosperity. And where do we join these together as my sister to take care of everyone globally, including Trinidad, Tobago, Africa, America, India, Sudan, UK, all across the globe. All of us here today will take up this responsibility to help our sister, not only the government. As part of my sister's health watch, what we started, and I want to thank Dr. Ada for the initiative, is just an insight and a global eye-opening that what can we do to help my sister in the form of health. So part of the program that we are carrying out in Africa is to make sure that we empower our young girls, our women, about their socio-economic status that can lead to formation of sickness or the other. Let's take, for example, if I have 5 children and we didn't even have a penny to eat, what will happen? Poverty, lack, malnutrition, depression. Who would take care of that woman with 5 children with behavioral health? When you are depressed at home, everything around you is just turned upside down. You won't be able even to take care of the children. The children will go to school with lack, with hunger. How can they study even if we send them to school? Even how do they access that education when the mother does not even have a dime in their pocket? We need to rise up to the challenge and work together in partnership. It is time to break the silos. It is time to make the difference clear that we can do it. We can be partnered together to work all together to stand for our sisters' health. I know I have limited time, but part of the things that I want us to think about is, how can I be part of this organization? How can I help my sister? We didn't have resources and we didn't want to wait for the government, because when we wait for the government, we wait forever. But it's time not to wait, it's time to stand up and do something with what you are. You got something, you have you. Speak up, take a girl, take a woman in your village, in your community. Talk about health, talk about wellness. We are all raising awareness about preventative health in America. Let's take time to go back to our community and start raising that awareness on, these are the things that we want to speak about. If a young girl is going to school and doesn't have a menstrual pad, let's start with that. This organization, My Sister's Health, where we take a village in Nigeria and we begin to train young girls on how to improvise, for menstrual pad. When you reach certain age of puberty, this is how you feel as a girl. So when you go out, so they will not be embarrassed and they will not come back home with premature pregnancy, teen pregnancy. These are the things that causes issues in our society. So health and social issues and economic issues make everything compounded for us. But when we disjoint these things, that is when it doesn't work. We have to combine them together and take it by the source, one by one, piece by pieces, and take care of our sisters' health. Another initiative that we did is using the telephone. You've got to give the millennium what they need and what they use. Everyone has a cell phone, including the woman in the market, right? So use that cell phone as a form of introducing health to them. What we do is we get a doctor in one of the towns, and this doctor uses his cell phone to connect with them. What are the things that is happening? Because accessibility is part of the issues we have in healthcare. Some villages, the road is so bad that you can't even access healthcare centers. And when you go to healthcare centers, you need the money to pay them, right? But if we can get someone to use the innovative strategies, so the approach now is innovation, the approach now is practicality, the approach now is speaking up, the approach now is taking care of what we have left behind. UN agenda says leave no one behind. So we should not leave anyone behind. So we are here to partner with you. We are here to go further in making sure that our sisters in the communities, in the villages are covered. And notwithstanding, I will not forget where we are even here currently in America. A lot of people also, they deny access because they don't have it. They don't have insurance. We don't even know what will happen in the nearest future. So it is time for us to take action. It is time for us to actually practical and partnership together and collaborate with my sisters. We have done wonderful, wonderful things in speaking to young girls in schools, in speaking to mothers, in the villages, in making sure that the widows receive, health care as well. One of the powerful things that we are also partnering with in Los Angeles, this is really unbelievable. Organization like us, we are just meeting together, and this lady was there. She knows how to do cervical cancer screening. So we are taking that to Africa. If Trinidad can give us like maybe 5-10 people, we will train them, and then they go back to the community to use what the community are to actually screen for those women. These are simple things that we can do. It doesn't cost a lot, but it costs us to be there. It costs us to have that responsibility and be accountable for my sister's health. Thank you so much.
The next one? Is it okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. No, just 1 minute. Nothing there. Yeah. Okay. As I indicated, Dr. Ada Okika, together with the International Women's Peace Group, they are part of the organizing of today's event. Mrs. Nam Hee Kim should have been here today, but unfortunately she's not here today, but she has sent a presentation and we will just look at it. I think that they would not, those sitting at the table, we just have to quickly adjust.
Your Excellencies, honored guests,